Hiller girls soccer took on Ashland on Monday, September 12th. The scoring got started in the first half.
Good defense by the Hillers. Up to their side. Sent over. Keeper gonna come way out. Open net. Looking for the shot. Takes it and makes it. Joanna DuPont makes it 1-0 Hillers. Trying to sneak it through Dever. Here comes Ashland. Look out. Hurlahai comes out and it's put in. Kobe Lima. Another instance where the keeper decides to come out, way out, and the forward able to get by her, and it's a 1-1 game. Nina sends it over. Here comes Madison Recupero. Look out, she's got moves. Leaves it behind for Georgina, charging in, shot, goal! What a feed and what a score for the Hillers!
A 2-1 Hopkinton lead heading into the second half. They added on.
Getting in there, Nina. Zaganaitis sends it over. DuPont takes a shot and rips it in! Joanna DuPont with another goal, her second of the day.
Joanna DuPont, that's her second goal of the day, and the Hillers take the 3-1 win over Ashland and improve to 2-0 on the season. Hillers field hockey took on Westwood under the lights Wednesday night. After a scoreless first half, Westwood racked up 4 goals in the second half.
Sent out in front, there's a shot and it's in! Wave Foley sends it to Ashley Breran, who pops it in. It's 1-0 Westwood.
And they would take the win 4-0. Hillers fell to 1-2-1 on the season. Westwood improved to 3-1. On Friday, September 16th, Hiller boys soccer battled Westwood. Despite some good pressure by both teams and some good shots on net, the game ended in a 0-0 draw. Both teams picked up a standings point. Hillers are now 2 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie on the season. Westwood is now 1 win, 1 loss, 3 ties on the season. Hiller girls varsity volleyball took on Westwood that night. Steve Sweetapple and Matt Clancy on the call.
Olympia Deisenroth checking in the front row. Sarah Pessin back to serve for the Hillers. Over. Going to be tough. And Hopkinton takes set number 1, 29-27. And that's Lane Fennell back to serve for Westwood. Gets it over. Hebert is there. Coop, bump set. Going to be tough for Hardenbrook, who does just get it over. Set from Fennell. And Hardenbrook keeps it in. Can Abby keep? What a play by Abby Hebert. Fennell with the set. Swing by Karen Jacobs is controlled by Olivia in the back row. Back to Hardenbrook for the swing. Another great dig by Westwood. Jacobs swings it over again. Carraz is there in the back row. Coop with the set for Annabelle, falling over to the side. Controlled by Stokes. Fennell with the set. Blocked at the net. Sarah took it over. That's going to be trouble for Westwood. Ooh, might have been a 4th hit there. Couldn't tell. Coop with a set over the side for Annabelle. Swings. Fennell with another set for Jacobs. Point for Hopkinton, and that will be the set. That was 4 hits. Let's see if Sarah can close things out. Rocket serve over the net, controlled by Buscone. Easton set to McManus. Almost blocked the net. Armbar! Olivia calls everybody off, gets it over. Controlled by Westwood. Fennell with the set to McManus. Big swing and long. And that will do it, folks. Hopkinton takes the third set, 25-17. They sweep Westwood.
The Hillers take a well-needed win via a 3-0 sweep. Hopkinton improved to 2-3 on the season. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this segment on HCAM Sports Talk. We're at our new time slot, 5:30 every Wednesday. You catch HCAM Sports Talk. And joining me on the show today, we have HCAM contributor Jared Keene, and we may or may not have Steve Watson jump in. He's trying to work out some technical issues. But in any case, Jared, how are you?
Doing all right. How about yourself, man?
Oh, I am fantastic. Another crazy week of football. Very weird week in the NFL, I think.
Very strange. One of the weirder weeks we've had.
Yeah. There was some crazy, not a lot of upsets, but just weird games.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
And we'll try to break down the weirdness of week 3, and we'll have our week 4 NFL picks. And unfortunately, Andy Barron couldn't be here, but he'll have a video during the picks for us of his pick of the week. So, and we also he sent in his picks before, so we'll be able to read those off as well. But the Patriots, just fresh off a 37-26 loss to the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson just ran all over them. Threw all over them, 4 touchdowns for Lamar Jackson, 218 yards passing, and a whole lot of yards rushing as well. Again, the Pats defense, to me, it just looked slow. It couldn't keep up with the good speed. And this is a pretty similar issue to what they had last year. So I'm a bit nervous. I was talking about the defense coming into the season, and I didn't have very high hopes for them. And so far, they're just proving me right. They get a good team like Baltimore with a lot of speed, and they can't keep up with it. They're not young enough. They're not fast enough. And I think this is a huge issue, especially with their schedule. They got a lot of speedy teams on the schedule. They go in Green Bay next week, which isn't the fastest team, but that's a team that you really have to cover, some young receivers that do have speed. I think it's not looking good for the Pats right now, Jared. And I think this defense is going to become more and more of an issue as the season goes on. And that's on top of the fact that, as you mentioned before the show, Mac Jones has not improved. He does not look much better than he did last year, if he looks better at all. And he threw 3 interceptions against Baltimore, and it doesn't seem like that he's really progressed. And I know I'm stealing all your thoughts that you said before the show, but I agree with you. And I think there's a lot of problems with this team, Jared. What are your thoughts from that ugly week 3 game?
Where do I start? You started with Lamar Jackson. I think I mentioned in the picks last week that, the Pats had already faced some real speed when they faced Miami week 1 with Tyreek Hill, who's one of the fastest players in the league. But again, they just didn't look ready for the speed of Lamar Jackson. He's a fantastic player. Who just made our defense look silly, and again, a few times this year we've talked about how our defense has actually looked pretty good and kept our team in the game in certain games, but not here. And Mac, just too many mistakes. Some of the talent is there with some of the skill position players, but just with some of the mistakes Mac keeps making, throwing off the back foot, poor decisions with, where to go with the football, just throws into coverage, turning the ball over in the red zone, things like that. Just, you don't like to see it, and again, you want to see Mac improve at this point, and I don't really see much improvement in his game. Does he probably give us the best chance to win in terms of our quarterback situation? Yeah, but it's not. I don't
Well,
give
you
him a
know,
real high
Cam
chance to
Newton's
win a lot of games, but unless he really, really turns things around, and I don't know. Obviously, he's a little banged up right now too. That wasn't great. That didn't look too good, but yeah, just a tough L. And like you said, Packers coming in now. Packers are obviously coming off a win over Tampa Bay, so obviously the Packers can beat some really good teams, and obviously we're not in the same category as Tampa. So it'll be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. But Cam Newton's a free agent. Nah, kidding. But who knows? Maybe Hoyer is better. I'm just kidding about that.
Might be worth it. I don't know. I mean, it's funny. Obviously, we have a group text, and I think Andy mentioned it that maybe Mac needs to sit a couple of games, and maybe he's right. Just to kind of try to regain his, mental toughness or whatever, regain his composure or something, or try to learn a little bit. But again, does Hoyer really give us a chance to win? So.
Right. Hoyer looked pretty sharp in the preseason. The guy has experience. We know that.
He does have experience.
And what does the rookie got? The third string there.
Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, Bailey Zappi. Maybe it's Bailey time, baby.
Bailey time, baby. Bailey time.
Well, if the season keeps going the way it is, you might see Bailey Zappi getting a few starts.
Who knows? I hope not, but who knows?
Now, one of the things I heard about Mac Jones that kind of bothers me is he doesn't have the best attitude at all times. And you remember in his first season, I forget who they were playing. Maybe it was Kansas City. It was someone good. But Belichick was like trying to calm him down the whole game. And I just wonder about his mentality. I wonder he seems like a nice enough guy, but I wonder if he has the mentality to overcome these struggles and not let these struggles, bog him down all season long. Some guys, they don't have the mentality to overcome struggles. They get overwhelmed and they just get worse and worse. And for some guys, it never works out for them and they end up out of the league, or they end up a career backup. I'm hoping that's not the case with Mac Jones, but what's going through his head right now after that performance where he threw 3 interceptions? I mean, the loss isn't all on him. The defense was awful in that game, especially in the second half. So it's certainly not all on him, but what's going through this guy's head? Is he going to be able to overcome this? Does he have the mental toughness to overcome this? I think these are all questions you need to ask, Jared.
I agree, Tom. But, I think before you even think about mental toughness and whether he can get past some of these mistakes, I think he needs to work on fixing some of these mistakes first, and trying to actually improve his game and then try to focus on that mental toughness. Because if he can focus on the mental toughness and fix some, and try to work through mistakes like that, that's fine. But if he can't fix those actual mistakes, then you're still going to have the same issues, So, again, I think first he needs to work on actually trying to improve himself and fix some of these mistakes that he's been making. And, again, I think once he does that, then he can probably try to, bog down his mental game and, make sure he's able to kind of do that.
Right. I'm just hoping that he's not going to struggle all season. I mean, let's face it, the Pats have a very tough schedule this year. They got Green Bay coming up next, and they still have a number of other tough teams. You're going to have to win tough games this season. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if you let these struggles get the best of you and you don't improve this season, I'm just not very optimistic about, what this team is capable of, especially with the fact that they have a struggling defense. They have questionable receivers. I got very mad at Nelson Aguilar this week. That drop was so bad, awful.
The drop, the fumble, whatever. Yeah, not great.
Right, the fumble.
Where's Kendrick Bourne, man? Can we talk about Kendrick Bourne for a minute? This guy came in, made a couple of plays, but is still being, getting less playing time than little Jordan Humphrey, who's getting more snaps than him. Come on, Matt Patricia. What the? I could go on an epic rant right now. I'm not going to, but that is just ridiculous, man. Come on.
When they
What
brought
is Matt Patricia doing?
What is he doing in the coaching staff? Put him in the front office. The guy's worthless as a coach. He hasn't had any success in his career, pretty much. All right. He had a couple good years with the defense, but guess what? Belichick's the real defensive guy. Okay, let's face it. Patricia, I mean, he hasn't contributed anything to this team, really. In my opinion, he went to Detroit, failed miserably as a head coach. He comes back here as, he was always a defensive guy. Now he's the offensive coordinator. I said this is a bad decision going into the season. You needed to bring in an experienced offensive coordinator that could actually add to this offense, maybe add a new element to the offense instead of, the same old Patriot offense that we've seen the last couple of years since Brady left. Because let's face it, I mean, Cam Newton didn't add much to this offense. They ran a few more running plays, which sometimes worked out. But then they went to Mac Jones and they went to a standard pass offense, and it just hasn't panned out. You brought in all these weapons, you spent all this money, and now because Matt Patricia had some, feud with Kendrick Bourne, despite the fact he may be the best receiver on the team, he's not going to get any playing time, and you're struggling this bad, it's crazy.
Yep. No, I agree. I don't know if Kendrick Bourne is the best receiver on the team, but he's got the most downfield threat. Devontae Parker actually looked pretty good this past weekend. I'll give him that. And I still like Jacoby Myers. Obviously, Jacoby Myers not playing this past weekend was not great because he's looked pretty good so far this season. And at times, Nelson Aguilar has looked pretty good despite his struggles this past weekend. But yeah, just Kendrick Bourne needs to be on the field more. It's ridiculous. Matt Patricia needs to get over this and play the guy.
He does.
Again, he comes on and he has an impact. Whenever he comes on the field, he makes a play or two, and then he just comes right back off the field. What are you doing? Honestly.
How long is this feud going to last? Is it going to be all season? Is it going to be for the first half of the year?
And where's Hunter Henry, too? What's Hunter Henry doing?
Right.
Where's he been? Jonnu Smith has been more involved in the offense than Hunter Henry.
He's been non-existent. So is there a feud with Hunter Henry now, too? I mean, how many feuds are you going to have?
And just real quick, Tom, on the Patriots schedule, we talk about the Packers. We go to Lambeau next weekend. That'll be tough.
Very tough.
After that, you got the Lions,
tough,
the Browns, the Bears, and the Jets.
Not tough.
Again, that's 4 games you normally think the Patriots would roll. I don't know if any of those are locks, which shows how, which shows how low the Patriots are right now. When you're not a lock against the Lions, the Browns, the Bears, and then the Jets, I think the Jets could give us a game. We'll probably beat the Jets, but the Jets could give us a game. I don't know about the Bears. The Bears,
they usually do. The Jets, they usually do give them a game, and that's even with
we're at the Jets. I don't know. We could probably beat the Bears. The Bears are not looking good at all. I don't know what's going on there. Their offense is just atrocious, maybe somehow worse than ours. But the Browns are 2-1, have a better record than you. The Lions have the same record as you, but have probably a much better offense than you right now. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is probably better than anybody on the Patriots' whole team.
Well, the Bears beat Houston last week. Come on, Jared. They have a better defense.
They beat Houston on a walk-off field goal. Come on, man.
They have a better defense than you, and maybe a better kicker. But they certainly don't have the offense, no. But you're right. There's not a single game on this schedule that's a lock. The Lions have all of a sudden come out of nowhere, and they're playing tough. The Browns had a very good week last week against Pittsburgh. They looked really good. Maybe they turn the table. Jacoby Brissett is starting to take leadership of that offense, and the Browns are looking better. Will it continue in the next week? I don't know, but that Pittsburgh game, I think the Browns fans should be a little encouraged by that. And the Bears, they're a gritty team. They won 2 games via the defense against San Francisco and Houston, and they're a team that could fight it out. They're a team that has, I think, a much improved defense from last year. And then the Jets, I mean, they beat Tennessee, right? Was it Tennessee or it was Cincinnati, I think.
Yep.
The last year's AFC champions. So they might have something there. Are they going to do anything?
Or no, the Cincinnati just housed the Jets this past weekend.
All right. Who did the Jets beat? Tennessee? They had that random win. That was crazy.
I think it was Tennessee.
Yes. Yes, Tennessee got their random loss that they get to a bad team typically. They usually get 1 or 2 of those a year. But then you got the Colts. That's going to be a tough game. I mean, the Colts did not look very good the first few weeks of the season, but guess what?
Just beat the Chiefs.
I'm sorry. That immediately puts them on the have potential list.
On the radar, yeah.
And then you got Vikings, Bills, Cardinals, Raiders, Bengals, Dolphins, Bills. And you're 1-2.
Yep. Definitely got 2 losses to the Bills.
Right.
By the way, that Bills-Dolphins game was wild. I don't know what the Bills were doing at the end of that with their clock management. Obviously, you saw the clip probably of Ken Dorsey, the Bills offensive coordinator, making a mess there in the offensive coordinator box or whatever. Just absolutely lost it and should have. That was poor management there. They had to spike that and get a field goal off there because they were in position. But yeah, but again, just around the league as well. I mean, the Raiders come all the way back against Tennessee, tie it up late, get a score late and then whiff on the 2-point conversion, blow that one. The Raiders are atrocious, by the way. I don't know what is going on there, but Josh McDaniels, I don't know if his job is safe, man.
Oh, another legendary coach from the Belichick coaching tree, because these Belichick assistant coaches have gone off and just become the most amazing head coaches all across the NFL. No, they haven't. Pretty much every single one of them has been an absolute failure. And McDaniels has a loaded roster, a loaded offense, a loaded defense. They spent a ton of money this offseason, and boy, what a bad start. And supposedly Al Davis has already had a conversation with McDaniels after that, after Sunday's loss, horrid loss. They got crushed by Tennessee.
Well, they came back. I mean, they came back and almost tied it up again. I mean, they had a chance to tie it up for 2. And Derek Carr tried to force it into Darren Waller, and the Tennessee was all over it. So, but yeah, I mean, Tennessee was all over them for a while. And the Raiders just do not look good. I mean, when you have Devontae Adams and Darren Waller, you should be doing a lot more than you're doing right now. So,
yes. It'll be interesting if they continue being that bad. McDaniels might not last the season.
Yep.
I think the Raiders are pretty desperate to have a winning team, and it's not looking good for them right now at all.
No.
What are they, 0-3?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not looking good. And you're in a tough division, and not only have you lost all 3 games, but you've pretty much got crushed all 3 games. So I can't imagine they're happy over there in Las Vegas. But
also, the Washington Commanders are an atrocious football team.
They're the worst.
One of the most boring and one of the worst teams in the league, with one of the worst owners in professional sports. Andy and I were talking about this the other day. How Dan Snyder is still employed is ridiculous. That team is horrendous.
I agree.
Absolutely horrendous.
Yes. And especially, they're just awful. They're the worst in the league. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
By the way, the Raiders are the only 0-3 team in the league.
Really?
The Texans are 0-2-1, but
that's right. Washington won in week 1.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, somehow the Commanders have more wins than the Raiders.
You know what? I'm going to put the Raiders above Washington because they've had a much tougher schedule. So if I'm doing power rankings, I got Washington 32, Raiders 31.
All right. Fair.
There it is. All right. Well, how about we get into this week's slate? Well, we have Thursday Night Football. Good matchup on Thursday Night Football. We have the Miami Dolphins at the Cincinnati Bengals. Dolphins undefeated, 3-0. They just beat Buffalo, who I thought was just going to run away with this division. Boy, was I wrong. But they got to deal with last year's AFC champion, Cincinnati Bengals, who have had a rough start, 1-2. Cincinnati got their first win of the season against the Jets. So take that for what it's worth. In any case, to start off the picks, I'm going to go Miami here. I think Miami is starting to light things up. This is a team that I feel like might be on fire a little bit, especially after that big win against Buffalo. It was a grinded out kind of win, and you beat arguably the best defensive team in the league with one of the better offenses in the league, a great all-around football team. And Cincinnati has not proven anything to me at all. Their O-line's still a mess. They don't seem to be putting up the points that they were able to put up last season, and their defense is questionable. So give me Miami on this one. Jared, who you going with?
I'm going to go with Cincinnati here and hand Miami its first loss. Yeah, I mean, as bad as Cincinnati's offense has looked at times this year and their offensive line, which has been horrendous, I think they found a little something this past weekend, albeit against the Jets. Bengals are at home. Again, it might not be easy. And again, maybe I end up whiffing here hard, but give me the Bengals. You also don't know about Tua. You know what happened there with Tua? You know, Tua got like concussed and then came back in. And is he still banged up? Is he going to play on a short week? You know, I don't know what's going to happen there. So, you know, obviously if Tua is out, not ideal. Yeah, this is a weird one, but give me the Bengals.
Well, yeah, you do have a good point with it being a short week. And we don't do conditions here, but if I could do a condition, it would be if Tua plays, give me Miami. Tua looked really good last week, I must say, against one of the best defenses in the league. Well, you're not the only one that picked Cincinnati. Andy sent in his picks. He also picked Cincinnati. So it's I'm in the minority here out of us three. And we'll get Steve and Mike's picks later. And actually, I forgot to do standings. Let's talk about how last week went and our picks before we move on. Last week, and we're recording this on Monday, so we're not going to be picking Giants and Dallas today, and we don't know what happened in the Monday night game. But last week, Jared, you went 8-7, and so did I. So we were the champions of the week. Steve went 6-9, Mike 5-10, Andy 3-12. Oof. Andy had a rough week.
That's a Kevin-esque week right there.
Yes. So the overall standings, Jared, you're at the top, 24-22. Steve is a game behind at 23-23. And then it's me and Mike tied at 20-26. And after the beating Andy took last week, he is 17-29.
Wait, didn't you pick up a game last night? Didn't you? Because you took the Broncos, right?
I did.
So what, you're 21-25 then, right? Or 20-26?
Wow, I might have to go back and look at this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I'll go back and look at it later, but I'm counting 8 and 7.
All right.
But I'll take a game if you want. It's fine with me.
I just know you're looking at that was one of the worst football games I've ever watched in my life. That was an atrocious game.
Oh, you know where I lost the game on you? It's because you had Green Bay, I had Tampa.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that game was horrible.
That was one of the worst football games I've ever seen.
Notice how it all came down to the 2-point conversion. Jimmy G stepping out of bounds along the end line. Terrible. Oh,
Mac Jones update real quick. Severe high ankle sprain that would cause many to have surgery, likely to miss multiple games, according to Adam Schefter.
uh-oh. They're in trouble. Well, Hoyer, hope you're ready, buddy. You're going to be playing in Lambeau next Sunday. That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I think people already know who I'm going to pick. All right. All right, moving on to Sunday's action. We'll start off with the 9:30 a.m. London game. It's London, right?
Yep.
Minnesota versus New Orleans in Europe. New Orleans did not look good last week. Carolina gave them kind of a beatdown. We all picked New Orleans. We were all wrong. And I think the Saints might be on a bit of a downward trend. Kamara has been not playing the last couple of weeks. He might not play this week either. And Jameis Winston's pretty beat up, so I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Saints. I'm going to go with Minnesota, who should feel pretty good after what they did last week, beating a pretty gritty Detroit team. So give me the Vikings here. Who are you going with, Jared?
I think this is actually going to be closer than people think. I'm going to go with Minnesota, even though I'm not actually sure about the status of Dalvin Cook. Their awesome running back, who obviously had to come out, and Alexander Madison came in and looked pretty good. But Michael Thomas, I think, also got banged up for the Saints, which actually probably could mean more time for Chris Olave, who their rookie from Ohio State, who's really good. But and actually the Saints defense, their secondary is a lot better than people think. Marshawn Lattimore held Mike Evans in check before the whole ejection thing. And then he held DJ Moore in check this past weekend. But I'm still going to take Minnesota here, even though Justin Jefferson has also been struggling, which is interesting for one of the best receivers in the league. Yeah, I don't know. Give me Minnesota here, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints really gave him a good one here.
Yeah, I think it will be a close game. I mean, I think the Saints team is tough, and I think their defense is good, so I don't think they're going to run away with this. But I just don't like the direction they're going in. And now having to travel to Europe with a beat-up quarterback and your star running back likely out, that's tough. But I think it will be close because Minnesota's been known to blow games they should win. They've done that quite a bit.
One of the most inconsistent teams in the league last year.
Yep. All right. And now our next game, as we move into the 1 p.m. games, is Cleveland at Atlanta. And we have Andy Barron's pick of the week. So we will start off with Andy Barron's video. If it works, hopefully it will. But don't worry, I know his pick anyway, so no fear, folks. All right, here we go. Here's Andy's pick of the week.
Hey, everyone, it's Andy. Sorry I wasn't able to make the show this evening, but I do have a pick of the week for you, and hopefully it will be right because the way I've been picking games so far this year has not been good. But I'm taking Atlanta over Cleveland. I like the way the Falcons are playing, and I am still not 100% sold on this Browns team. And the Falcons are pretty good at home. I like them in a close game, a 30-27 victory. Atlanta over Cleveland in Week 4. See you next week.
There it is. Atlanta over Cleveland for Andy. I'm going to respectfully disagree. I think Cleveland is going to take the win. I really liked what they did against Pittsburgh last week. They looked like a good all-around football team. I think Brissett is getting better and better. I just like the direction Cleveland's going in. Atlanta, they are one of those teams that are pretty unpredictable as usual. They could potentially, there's always a chance anyone could win, but this should be a close game. I think Atlanta will definitely make it competitive. They got a good win against Seattle last week, but Seattle, they're kind of towards the bottom of the league. So give me Cleveland getting the win. And plus I like the fact that they've had 11 days of rest. I think that's going to help. Jared, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm actually going to take Atlanta here. I think Atlanta's going to have some confidence now coming off that win over Seattle. And, Atlanta's lost 2 games, but they gave the Rams a game, and they only lost by 1 to the Saints. I think it's the week that Kyle Pitts really comes out and has a monster week. And Drake London is one of the best rookie wide receivers in the league from University of Southern Cal. A lot of talent. Cordero Patterson's actually running the ball pretty well, and their defense is going to be stingy. So, give me Atlanta here.
Yeah, my fantasy team is really liking Cordero Patterson. He is putting up some pretty good points, and I think that was a smart move putting him at running back. I mean, he has lightning speed. Why not? It's working out.
Pretty good.
Certainly is, and maybe they'll throw him into a few trick plays and have him throw a pass or two. I think that could work.
Yep.
All right, here's a very good one. This is probably the top game of the 1 p.m. time slot, maybe the top game of the week. Buffalo at Baltimore. This is going to be an absolute showdown. Andy went Buffalo. Jared, who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going with Buffalo. I think Buffalo bounces back after the loss to Miami. I know that's going to be tough, but I think that'll really motivate them. And as well as the Ravens defense played against the Patriots, they also did give up 26 points to the Patriots, which is a healthy amount. So for a team with a poor offense like the Patriots, but I like the Bills to bounce back here. Again, might not be easy, but give me the Bills.
All right, I'm going Bills as well. I think they're going to be fuming after that tough loss against Miami. So give me the Buffalo Bills to take the win over the Baltimore Ravens. Well, we have Steve trying to rejoin the show. We'll see if he's able to get in. Well,
Yes.
There he is. Steve, how are you?
Delightful.
Excellent. We are glad you could make it.
Technology is terrible, by the way.
Yes, technology is fun, isn't it?
Huh.
Well, if you win the picks this year, maybe we'll get you some new internet.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so we've only picked 4 games so far, so let's go back, quickly recap, and get Steve's picks. All right, Miami at Cincinnati, Thursday Night Football. I picked Miami. Jared and Andy are Cincinnati. Steve, who you got?
I want to go Cincy.
All right, he's going
Love it.
Cincy. That should be a great Thursday night game.
Yes.
Minnesota at New Orleans. This is in London, 9:30 a.m. Jared, Andy, and myself all have Minnesota, but we all think it's going to be close. Who do you got? All right. And he froze. We'll have to get his picks later. Let's keep it moving. The games we didn't pick. Seattle at Detroit. I'm going to go Detroit in this one. I really like what Detroit's doing. They might actually have a decent team this year. They're pretty good defensively. Their offense looks really good. I'm going Detroit. Andy went Detroit. Who are you going with, Jared?
Yeah, I'm also going with Detroit. I'm not big on this Seattle team. Obviously, the game is in Detroit. Again, I can't mention Amon-Ra St. Brown enough. This guy is just elite. He's so good. And, he's getting a ton of targets. They have other guys. They have a couple of good running backs, DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. TJ Hawkinson is a great tight end. This is a team that can win a few games. And, give me Detroit.
I do have to add that they did take a big loss to injury this past week. Amir St. Brown likely out for quite a while. So that is certainly pretty tough to deal with.
Really?
Detroit. Yeah, he got hurt in yesterday's games and Sunday's games. I'm trying to look it up as I'm talking here. We'll get back to that.
Interesting. He's actually he's on my fantasy team. I didn't see anything about an injury.
I thought they said he got hurt and he could be out for an extended period of time. Maybe they don't definitely know yet how long, but he came out of the game and they said it didn't look good. But I don't think anything's been released yet officially. So We'll wait on that. All right. LA Chargers at Houston. I don't like anything Houston has to offer. I think the Chargers are going to be pretty pumped to go after a tough loss to Jacksonville, who miraculously looked very good last week.
Yep.
I'll go Chargers here. Andy went Chargers. Who are you going with?
Yeah, Chargers. You just can't really bet the Texans here, and obviously this is a week for the Chargers to bounce back. So Chargers.
All right, Chargers. It is. Steve, who are you going with? Chargers or Houston?
Chargers looked so bad yesterday against Jacksonville. I didn't see that one coming.
They really did.
Houston can't get over the hump, though. They've had their chances, so I'm going to go with the Chargers.
All right, Chargers across the board. And Steve, real quickly, who are you going with? Seattle at Detroit.
Detroit.
Yes,
All right.
love that.
Buffalo at Baltimore. This should be a great showdown.
Ooh. And I was at the past game yesterday, seeing Baltimore. They looked good. Beatable, but good. And Buffalo, I said last week, can they win a one-score game? So far, the answer is no. I'm still going to go with the Bills, though. I think their defense is far better than the Ravens. I'd probably take the over in that game, by the way.
Yes. Well, not necessarily. I mean, Buffalo's defense is really good. It could be a balance, but I do think there'll be some scoring. Cleveland at Atlanta. Who do you got, Steve?
Well, Lamar Jackson is also really good.
Yes, he is. Cleveland, Atlanta. Let's go at Atlanta, right?
Yep.
Cleveland.
All right. I went Cleveland as well.
Interesting.
So you're not the only one. 2 for Atlanta, 2 for Cleveland. Minnesota at New Orleans.
And that game's over in London.
Yes.
New Orleans is just so banged up.
Yep.
They have a hard time really getting much going. I'll go with the Vikings in that one.
That was my thoughts. Minnesota's banged up, and it's going to be pretty tough going to Europe with Jameis Winston hurting and probably not having Kamara. So
yeah, it's tough. When the Saints are fully healthy, they're a really good team, but they're really banged up right now. It's tough sledding, kind of the way it was to end last year too for them.
Yeah, we're actually Minnesota across the board in that one. All right, moving on. Tennessee at Indy. Jared, who do you have for this one?
Tennessee at Indy. Oh God, this is a weird one. Shoot. This is a hard game to pick. I'm gonna go with Indy.
All right.
I don't really know. I'm just gonna randomly take Indy here. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, I mean the Titans obviously won yesterday, but the Raiders almost came back to beat the Titans. I don't know. Yeah, give me Indy here. Maybe not. I don't know. This is a weird one.
All right, Indy it is. And despite the fact Indy beat Kansas this past week, I think it was kind of a fluke. I don't think they're going to get 2 wins in a row against 2 really good teams. So I'm going to go Tennessee. Andy also went Tennessee. Steve, who are you going with?
I must say I was floored that the Chiefs lost to the Colts yesterday. That was mind-blowing to me. And I agree, it was kind of fluky. You had a missed PAT, a missed field goal, botched punt return by the Chiefs. They practically handed them the game on a silver platter. Titans are just a better team, so I'm going to go with the Titans in this one.
All right.
Interesting.
Titans it is. All right, Chicago at Giants. We'll do that later after the show.
At the Giants. Oh, what an atrocious game that is.
It is, but we're gonna pick that since we haven't seen the Monday night game yet. We'll pick that later. Jacksonville at Philly. This could be a really good game. I like what Jacksonville is doing. They looked really good last week, and they didn't just beat a good Chargers team. They absolutely dominated to win that game. I'm very unsure of who I'm picking in this one. So let's start with Andy. Andy picked Philly. Now let's go to Steve. Who are you picking, Steve?
The return of Doug Peterson to Philly.
Indeed.
Jacksonville, they're off to a good start. They are, but I'm going Philly in this one. Philly They might be the best team in the league right now, as of this moment.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's early. If I had to pick one team who looks the best, I would say the Eagles so far. But there's still 15 weeks to go.
Well, Philly and Miami are the only two undefeated teams left. I'd actually say Miami is number 1 right now, Philly number 2. Jared, who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going with Philly. Steve is right. Philly's the best team in the league right now, or has looked like the best team in the league right now. Their secondary is ridiculous. Jalen Hurts is playing really well. Devontae Smith is a fantastic player. He had an amazing game this past weekend. And they got some playmakers. Give me Philly.
All right, Philly it is. I am also Philly. We are Philly across the board.
Dilly.
Watch Jacksonville house them.
I'm going to be so mad that I didn't pick Jacksonville if they just crush them. Oh, yeah. And it's very rare I trust Philly 2 weeks in a row.
I know.
All right, Jets at Pittsburgh. All right, the Jets, they got a good win a couple of weeks ago. They lost to Cincinnati this past Sunday, but a couple of weeks ago they got that weird win against Cleveland. They also beat Tennessee at one point, didn't they? So, oh no, they're 1-2. Never mind. They just beat Cleveland. I'm going Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh looked horrible against Cleveland, but they had 11 days off. They're playing the Jets. There should be a good comeback game. Andy also went Pittsburgh. Jared, who you going with?
Well, I'm not taking the Jets, so I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. I can't physically pick the Jets for right now.
Yep, I agree. I don't blame you. Steve?
Go with the Steelers. I think this will be a low-scoring game, too.
Yeah, take the under here.
Yeah, this could be like an 8-5 kind of game.
I wouldn't be shocked one bit. I really wouldn't be.
Yep.
By the way, at one point last night, that game last night at one point was like 7-5, right?
Yes.
Wasn't San Fran up like 7-5 at one point? Give me a break. What an awful, atrocious game that was.
Yeah, and really, gents, the 3 Sunday night games so far have been complete duds. They've all been terrible.
L. Michaels is so happy right now.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
Moving on to the 4:00 games, Arizona at Carolina. This is a tough pick. I just don't have faith in Arizona. They just look like kind of a mess. Carolina looks like they got their stuff together last week a little bit. I still don't have a ton of faith in them, but I guess for right now, I have a little more faith in them than I do in Arizona. So give me Carolina. Andy also went Carolina. Steve, who are you going with?
I'm going to go with the Panthers. The Cardinals have only played 2 good quarters all season. So there's really no reason to have a whole lot of faith in them.
I like it. Jared?
I'm going Arizona here. This is a weird one. Again, yeah, Steve just mentioned Arizona has played awful this season. This just, to me, seems like a weird game where Arizona could, like, break out and Carolina could crap the bed at home, pardon my language. Yeah, this is a really weird game. I don't know, but yeah, I'm going to take Arizona here. If I fail miserably here, I'll take it on the chin, but I don't know. I didn't see much from Carolina this weekend either. I mean, geez.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, what did you see from Arizona? All right.
True. Yeah, I don't know. That's
but
a weird.
This game
weird
could go either way. This is going to be one of those who knows kind of games. I certainly wouldn't touch it if I was a betting man. That's for sure.
No.
New England at Green Bay after that horrid performance last week that we talked a lot about at the beginning of the show that Steve unfortunately couldn't join us for. There is no way I could take New England over Green Bay. And plus, we just heard Mac Jones is likely out for weeks. So, I mean, come on here. Is anyone taking New England?
No, I'm taking the Packers.
Steve?
I want to go with Green Bay in this one.
Yeah.
So even when fully healthy and at full strength, Lambeau Field's a very tough place to win. Packers are a very good team. You're playing Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
It's a tall task with or without Mac Jones. And we don't know if he'll play Sunday or not. We'll find out as the week goes on. But it's a tall task. I did not think the Pats played bad yesterday. It's really just mistakes. If they can cut down on mistakes, they'll be fine. A lot of people thought they'd get dominated. That didn't happen. It was a very winnable game.
Excuse me, their defense was atrocious.
Well, they got put in some bad spots.
Yeah,
4 turnovers,
bad spots.
coming a mile away. You have little faith, Tom. Have faith.
Having Matt Patricia as an offensive coordinator is a bad spot.
They had almost 500 yards of offense yesterday,
Okay, so you're playing a defense that has a bunch of holes in it that put up 37 points.
I'm just saying.
1-2.
I was like,
1-2.
no way.
About to be 1-3. Okay.
They were 1-3 last year too, though.
Huh?
They were also 1-3 last year.
Yeah. Well, this isn't. Yeah, they went to the first round, failed miserably. It's not happening this year. They're not even going to make the playoffs. Denver at Las Vegas. And Steve, I'd love to talk more about that with you, but you should have been here at the beginning of the show. Fix your internet. I'm going Vegas in this one. I don't know why. They're at home. I feel like the pressure's on McDaniels. Denver is just their offense really struggled in that win Sunday night. They can't really seem to get consistent offense going. So give me Vegas here. Andy went Denver. Jared, who are you going with?
I kind of want to pick a tie here. This is a really weird game because of how bad the Denver's offenses looked. I just don't have any faith in the Raiders right now, though. The Raiders are atrocious. This is the only team in the league that's 0-3. Yeah, maybe their backs are up against the wall and they come out and they sling it. But I'm going to go Denver.
All right, he went Denver, and you're cutting out a little bit, Jared. Steve passing on his internet curses over to Jared.
Yes.
Steve, who you going with? We got to hurry it up here. Only a couple minutes left.
I'm going with Vegas. They are under pressure. Mark Davis has already had a closer meeting with Josh McDaniels. You can't start 0-4. 0-3 is bad enough. They have to win. Denver's coaching staff is under pressure too. They've looked flat out incompetent. Yeah. So that whole division was supposed to be so good. Honestly, I'm not impressed by any of the 4 teams so far.
No.
Well, except Kansas City. I mean, they had that fluky loss last week, but
yeah, you can't lose to the Colts though. That's not a team that you can lose to.
Okay, but it's okay for the Pats to be 1-2 right now. Fluky loss. All right, don't get used to the Chiefs losing to the Colts. It's not going to happen.
Well, I'd hope not. They shouldn't lose to the Colts.
Speaking of the Chiefs, epic Sunday night football game. Kansas City at Tampa Bay. There is absolutely no way I'll ever pick Mahomes over the GOAT. Give me Tampa Bay, Tampa Brady. They'll get back on the winning track. Tampa, your offensive line needs to play better. It looked horrible against Green Bay. Improve on your offensive line play. But besides that, I like what I'm seeing defensively from Tampa. I like their receivers. And, of course, you got the GOAT. So I'll take Tampa on that one. Andy is going to take Kansas City. Steve, who are you taking?
I agree with you, Tom. Tampa's D looks really good. Offense needs to pull their weight a bit more. I'll take Brady over Patrick Mahomes.
All right, Jared.
This game to me sort of, I think, depends on if the Bucs receivers are healthy. If Julio plays, if Godwin plays, yeah, maybe give me Tampa. If not, I kind of like the Chiefs here. Again, the health of those Bucs receivers is questionable. Obviously, they will have Evans back after the suspension. I don't know, man. This is a weird one. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs here.
Excellent. All right, Monday Night Football, Rams at San Francisco. Is anyone going San Francisco here?
No,
I didn't think so. San Francisco looks horrible. I don't know what they're doing. Their offense is a train wreck. Their defense looks okay. It looks pretty good, actually, but their offense is an absolute train wreck. So Rams across the board on that one. All right.
Give me Tampa over the Chiefs.
He's changing it.
Before we sign off, give me Tampa over the Chiefs.
Tampa, get an audible. Andy's the only
One
one
inaudible
with Kansas
here.
City now. You left Andy all alone with Kansas City.
Hey, he
All
could pick
right.
up a game on us. He could pick up a game on us, but if he does, more power to him.
All right, you got about 20 seconds for final thoughts. Anything you want to get out there?
Yeah, excited for the World Cup. It's weird that it's in Qatar, which is the size of Connecticut. I don't know how they're going to host. Many people have. Really excited. Going to be awesome. Forget the fact that it's in Qatar, which could really suck.
Yeah, we'll have some World Cup talk on the show. That'll be cool. Hillers 3-0, great win against Westboro. They got Foxborough this Friday night, 7 p.m. Game will be live on HCAM. Looking forward to it. Should be a great game. Foxborough 0-3, but heavily battle tested in that tough Hockomock League. So it could be a pretty close game, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Hillers football team this season. They're looking really good. Steve, any really quick final thoughts?
Keep the faith, folks. Hopefully Mac Jones is okay. And Bruins start in just over 2 weeks, so we'll have that starting up too.
Terrific. Well, we're out of time. For Jared Keene, Steve Watson, Andy Barron, I'm Tom Nappy. Take care. Be well. We'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody.